discovered that your parents or your grandparents had invested some amount in shares, mutual funds or fixed deposits and they forgot about it. Now that money is lying somewhere idle, unclaimed. This is not a filmy scenario. It is very much a reality for many. A lot of money is lying idle in shares, mutual funds, fixed deposits or even insurance. Hello, I am Aprajita from Mint Money and today I have with me Mr. Vikash Jain. He is co-founder at Share Samadhan, an investment recovery advisory platform, and he will tell us all about unclaimed amount in the system and how to recover it. Welcome, Mr. Jain.
Thank you, Aprajita. Pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you here. And now tell us what is the quantum of unclaimed money, if you can tell us for different asset classes.
So, Aprajita, the entire unclaimed investments which are just lying, due to various reasons, the value of these unclaimed investments across various financial asset class can be as high as 3-4 lakh crore, while just to bifurcate, the value of physical shares itself in the country is more than 2 lakh crore. Out of those physical shares, I would estimate that at least 20-30% of those physical shares are unclaimed in the country. If you consider PF and PPF, that itself is 70-80,000 crore. 23,000 crore worth of insurance is unclaimed where the policy premium is fully paid, but the family is not aware about those investments. Apart from financial investment asset class, if you consider properties and other asset class, this number can be a mind-boggling number.
Correct. And there are fixed deposits also in banks.
Yeah, so bank is
even savings account.
Yeah, so in bank also 66 to 2,000 crore worth of money just lying inoperative with various banks in the country.
And if we add it all, then this is more than 3 lakh crore.
Yeah, 3 to 4 lakh crore.
Right. And now how will people get to know that yes, some money is indeed lying idle in their family fortunes? So how to know that? Are there some official websites for that?
So for, if a family member, there can be two scenarios, Aprajita. One, where the family member has lost their papers, investment papers. Second, the family have lost their earning member. So they themselves are completely not aware about their unclaimed investments. So in first scenario, based on those small papers, we might get some clue. The investor might have some dividend warrants in case of shares. They might have some annual reports, again in case of shares. In case of insurance, mutual fund, earlier all those investments used to be in physical form. So with those small piece of paper, still there are ways and means you can at least calculate the value of unclaimed investments. Scenario 2, where the family have lost their earning member and they do not have any clue. So for various financial instruments, you can go to various websites. Some are government websites. So in case of share, if it is unclaimed and family wanted to search, they can go to a government website which is called IEPF Authority.
IEPF Authority.
So the web address is www.iepf.gov.in. So by going to their website, the family or the person has to put some of the information like the name of the shareholders, father's name. So with those and some of the addresses, with those informations, if this is unclaimed, they should be able to know what is the value of unclaimed shares. In case of insurance, some of the insurance company, I'd say most of the insurance company, because IRDA has made it mandatory for all insurance company to display the unclaimed insurance in their respective websites. So the claimant or their family has to put the name of the policy holder or PAN number or date of birth. With those mandatory information, if it is unclaimed, they should be able to see it. Similarly, in case of bank accounts also, the various banks have started displaying the list of inoperative bank account, and with recent initiative by Government of India, there is a scheme called Udgam where all banks are coming together, and rather than going to individual websites of banks, one can search all the inoperative bank balance by visiting to a single website.
Okay, so there is a website called Udgam,
Yeah.
and one can visit that website and get consolidated information
Yeah.
irrespective of in which bank account
Yeah.
the person may have had the
Yes.
account. Okay, and in case of mutual fund, what is the process?
So mutual fund, again the same. Most of the mutual fund companies in their website one has to visit.
Okay,
And by
but there is no consolidated like banks.
Yeah, consolidated is still to be there. Only the banks have started.
Even insurance companies don't
Insurance
have
company have not started, but hopefully they should also take a cues from Udgam initiative,
Okay.
and they would come up.
Okay, and now one is people, family members not being aware of that they do have this amount of money unclaimed lying there. But if they do know about it, then how to just simply process it, how to go about it, what is the procedure?
Yeah, so in case of shares, Aprajita, if the family member, they have some information, suppose they got some dividend warrant of the family member. So the first spoke or the first touch point, the shareholders or the family, they have to reach out to the respective company secretary of those company. So by just sending them an email or a black and white letter stating that this is the dividend warrant of this particular company, that company secretary, either within their internal department or RTA, which is a registrar and transfer agent for all listed companies. So RTA would respond that okay, this shares is unclaimed. That is the first information they would share, and then those company would ask the necessary KYC from the claimant, because they wanted to be absolutely sure that the claimant family is genuine enough. And then based on this scenario, if the shareholder is alive, then by just doing the KYCs, if they have lost the documents, so the requirement like getting a gazette notification, FIR copy, paper advertisement, those formality has to be completed. Scenario 2, if the investor himself is not alive, so then the process of getting a succession certificate, the court of law also gets involved. Third extreme scenario, that the documents are there but the shares certificates are not available. In those scenario, after completing all the requirements of succession certificates and other things, the shareholders of the family have to also approach IEPF authority. Apart from companies and RTA, they have to approach Investor Education and Protection Fund to claim, because all those shares where dividend remained unclaimed for 7 years. So dividend and the shares both have already been transferred to this fund called IEPF. So third stage to get in touch with them and to get those investment back.
So succession certificate, then company registrars, RTAs get involved, and then IEPF in case 7 years have gone by. But if up to 7 years, then simply reaching out to the company will help.
Yeah, company and then RTA will help.
And in case of mutual funds?
So mutual fund, the government at this point of time, they are not interfering. If it is unclaimed, so the unclaimed mutual fund units, basically those mutual fund, they invest in their liquid fund treasury balances, but their family can reach out to that respective mutual fund companies, do the same KYC which is applicable for shares. For mutual fund also, the KYC requirement is by and large same, but then even if it is older than 7 years also, then not go to government for claiming mutual fund.
Okay, and so we see cases where families are not aware of it, and this is probably the reason why the quantum of unclaimed money is so huge. So these companies or these banks or even mutual fund houses, what efforts do they put in to keep this information available? Do they reach out to families if they feel that yes, this money is lying idle, and they will surely have some information? So do they make their effort, a proactive approach do they have?
See, ideally they should make, but the amount of effort which is required probably is not visible, except inoperative bank balances. At least you see advertisement from government. In case of insurance, also insurance companies put pressure to their branches and agents to ensure that they reach out, but it requires mass communication. Investor outreach program is yet to take place. I still see that lot of things to be implemented and to be to be done in this particular.
All right. And now talking about recovery advisory platforms like yours, and there are some others also. So exactly what do you do? I'm sure, I think you have created some private databases, and with that you also try to approach. So the thing that all these private companies, these mutual fund houses and listed companies should do, and I'm sure they will be doing at their end, but in some sense you are also helping them out by reaching out. So just tell us, what do you do?
Yeah, so we at Share Samadhan simply we assist the investors or their family to retrieve their old, lost, forgotten or scattered investment from all asset class. So in terms of database, Aprajita, earlier these databases used to be a publicly available database. Now with these databases are not being used judiciously, because small player, they have come into this market. Whether they are using it judiciously or not, that's a question. So the listed company, they stopped showing those detailed list of unclaimed dividend holders in their website now. I won't say that any of the company have those private databases, but to authenticate whether those investments are correct or not, it is advisable either to use government websites or to reach out to the companies to get a clear picture. Now, so far as Share Samadhan is concerned, our interest is basically, for us, for me, I being a co-founder of the company, it was an accidental story. I lost my brother in road accident. So, I know what a family goes through if they lose their family member.
You have gone through
So,
first.
yeah, so it's an accidental venture. So, we at Share Samadhan, larger part of our fees is on a success fees. So, whenever a client comes, we first evaluate the case. We do a complete free search for them. After doing search, if we feel that the case is doable, then only we get into a mandate, and larger part of our fees is on a success fees. So that the family is absolutely clear that if they are getting their investment back, then only they are paying it to Share Samadhan.
Okay. And do you reach out to such people, such families directly?
Yeah, so our journey, when we started Aprajita 10 years back, we just to gauge whether this business model is workable or not, we, and along with my co-founder, we traveled across various cities of the country, reaching out to those investors. But now, since India is big enough, so we hardly reach out to those investors. But yes, with our business associate network, if some shareholder, some investor, if we feel that they are in a specific city, our business associates do reach out to them and explain their family that this is the investment which Share Samadhan should be able to retrieve.
Okay, because I heard stories that where family members, they got a call that you have this amount lying and we can help you out. Not talking specifically about Share Samadhan, but companies like yours who are in the business. So some companies have created private databases, and with that database, they try to reach out to these people. And when these family members receive that call, then I'm sure it's hard to trust, because a lot of fraud also keep happening. So your take on it, this practice of private companies reaching out to people, and should people trust those, and just how to find out that yes, it is coming from authentic sources?
So see, whenever if they experience this kind of things, that any unknown entities are just reaching out to them, my advice is to that family that first try and see whether those people are credible enough. Thanks to social medias and platform, knowing about a particular entity is relatively much easier than earlier days. So first, authenticity is to know the credibility. One should not just fall apart with anybody, individual person reaching out to them. That's point number one. Point number two, even if they are reaching out, you should ask them that, where is my investment? Suppose if Share Samadhan is reaching out, we are absolutely clear, and in terms of our integrity, we generally discuss the entire detail, that this was the investment in these companies. So because for us it's a socio-commercial venture. Even if that family is not taking Share Samadhan's help, at least they are they're getting to know this particular investment. They are feel free to reach out to anybody. But an organization which is relatively a professionally run organization, they should do a complete due diligence, and I would suggest that if the stake is pretty high, the investor or their family should go and visit to that particular office to know the genuinity of that particular
and only
claim
then
and amount.
take it forward. Okay, yes. So all these recovery platforms like yours and others, what's in it for you? I mean, why are you in this business, and what's in it for you?
So as I told you, Aprajita, for me it was an accidental venture. When I lost my brother in road accident, it took me 3 years first to identify his investments. It is a typical story of every home that the earning member of the family, he or she hardly share their investment detail with their family member. If God forbid, if something happens, it becomes very difficult to first identify and then to retrieve those investments. You know, most of our lifetime, our focus is just earning and investments. But you know, we hardly pay heed to the important fact that investment protection is also equally important. You know, if something, you know, happens wrong to the earning member, you know, the family just, you know, they have to roam around from pillar to post. So when it happened with my brother, I realized that, you know, it can happen with anybody. And that was the genesis of this particular venture. You know, you'll be surprised, 70% of our clients are senior citizen. You know, if their claims amount is small enough, we do not even charge to suggest or to advise them where to go, how to approach. You know, so it gives you a different satisfaction that, okay, you are bringing happiness to somebody's life. You know, our vision is to reach out to every pin code in the country, not only within India. You know, this is the biggest pain point for a lot of NRIs in the country.
Right.
You know,
Yes,
so we are already operating
abroad.
we are already operating in 16, 17 countries. But yeah, for them, you know, sometimes we get a compliment that we are, you know, we are acting as an angel to them.
If you can share any anecdote somewhere, how did you help out probably an NRI?
So NRI, you know, the biggest problem for NRI, most of the NRI who just happen to leave India for better opportunity, for them withdrawing their PF is a bigger headache for them. So, you know, majority of our clients are coming to us for helping them to retrieve their PF. You know, second is the physical shares of their ancestors. You know, they have, you know, moved out of India, their home is closed. Now they are getting a dividend warrant, their security guard is just taking those papers, they do not know. So recently we helped one NRI family who had this kind of investment. Both the brother have settled in abroad. Their mom is only residing in India. We could recover, you know, 5.5 crore for those two NRIs whose parents might have invested 20-30 years back. So I would strongly suggest to not only to NRIs, to all the investors, that do not ignore the papers which are lying at home. You know, timely evaluation of those papers and a regular evaluation of those investment paper is very important. You never know, you or your family must be sitting at a gold mine which you might not be aware about.
Correct. And I still see a lot of people having physical certificates. Sometime on social media, people share such episodes. So what is your advice, that if people still having physical certificates not in demat form, then what to do?
Yeah, so people who are holding currently physical shares, my strong advice is to get those physical shares into demat, because just for the information of all the investors, if somebody is holding physical shares, today they will not be able to sell those physical shares in the market unless and until they will get it dematerialized.
And how to do that?
So dematerialization process is very simple. If they have physical shares, they can reach out to any broker, share brokers. But of late what happened, people who are holding those shares in physical form, the KYC compliances by Sebi, they become, because they wanted to ensure that there is no, you know, fraud happening. So in terms of KYC, all the physical shareholder, they have to do an KYC in terms of, you know, updating their addresses with depositories, ensuring that their signature is being verified. So they have to visit to the bank to verify their signatures. And third important, the Sebi also suggests that physical shareholder should also ensure that they would have nominee in those physical shares. Though it is not mandatory, but with COVID, everybody has seen that life is contingent. So it's good to have a nominee. Otherwise, if we do not have nominee in our account, our family, if God forbid something happens to the investors, the process of getting a succession certificate and all those things is too time consuming.
How long is that? I was just about to ask you this question, that how long does it take to recover unclaimed shares or any other investment?
Yeah, so I'll just give an example of a classic case and a typical complex case. Mr. X was holding a physical shares. He expired. He didn't have any will as such, and then their son and daughter wanted to claim. For that, first communication would go to all the companies. It would take anywhere between 2-3 months time to get a response from the companies that okay, the disease is not there. Now to get a succession certificate, you have to get this particular certificate from the district court of the deceased place. So second step would be that we have to hire a advocate to represent the case to get a succession certificate. Now typically succession certificate takes anywhere between 6 months to maybe 1.5 and 2 years, depending on which jurisdiction it is. After we get a succession certificate, then the process of again submitting those papers to the companies or RTAs, and if it has gone to Government of India, then those succession certificate has to be submitted to IEPF. So after we get a succession certificate, still it would take 6 months to maybe an year's time to get the entire investment of deceased family.
Okay, so 2 years easily, 2 to 3 years is what the...
Yeah, this time would, with the help of, now some of the things are getting online also, the verification reports, the process of submission to IEPF authority. Earlier it was in physical, all the shares used to move from one place to another. But now with IEPF also implementing online, form submission, verification, this time should decrease as we go ahead.
So now, according to you, what should government and regulators do to reduce this timeline and other pain points to tackle? So what is your advice probably for government and regulators?
So I feel government is pro technology. They are doing a lot of things. My suggestion that the process of claiming any financial instrument where company secretary, the RTA and some of the instances government is also involved. If this process with the help of technology, if the same process, if they are, they are aligned in a sense, the KYC, if it can be handled digitally. So if a shareholder has submitted KYC at one place, so in the next step, then need not again submit the same KYC. So a consolidated platform where one can search the unclaimed investment. So my suggestion that government should have a centralized database or a system, which government started thinking on this particular line. So once a family spot their unclaimed investment, the process of applying the unclaimed investment should also be digitized, where all authorities, they talk hand in hand. So with that, probably at least the family, who have lost their family member, they would at least be relief. Because otherwise, doing an investment is a couple of seconds. You can open a bank account in 2-3 minutes, but try and close a bank account. For that matter, try to claim those unclaimed investment. It is actually a time-consuming process, but yes, government is thinking in that particular line. I'm happy for that.
Correct. Thank you so much for sharing your views with us, and this has really been an interesting conversation.
Thank you, Aprajita.
If you have even 1% inkling that you do have some unclaimed money lying in your family, then you should reach out to respective websites, banks, insurance companies and company shares. If you can't do that, then currently there is no consolidated database where you can check that. But for people who do know there is some unclaimed money lying there, then you should reach out to professionals who can really help you out in the process. Otherwise, try doing that on your own, but do claim this unclaimed money. Thank you.